Hello, right, so to do this video, and I'm going to do it, I'm rolling up my sleeves. Part of the awakening, and I don't know, I think it is quite similar for a lot of people that have awakened. And my Night of the Dark Soul last year, which is about this time last year, I was seeing and hearing a lot of things that I didn't understand, that were just going right over the top of my head, and they were just scary and I didn't want to know. And then this year we've been through Mercury retrograde. We've had a lot of high energy as we're going through this ascension, and it has brought up things for me that, again, from last year, that I didn't understand at the time. But this time round, when it started to come up, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to investigate this and I'm going to look at these certain things and ask my guides and my angels for help in helping me to understand what I'd seen. So I started to investigate. There's been a few times over the past few weeks where I've scared the living daylights out myself, until I've got a hold of myself and thought, right, okay, you are being shown this for a reason. This is the reasons why you are seeing it. And from there you have to make my own decision about what it means to me and how it affects me as a person, why it's been included as part of the awakening of everybody. I'm trying to stop her howling because she's going to howl in a minute. And the thing is, when we wake up and our heart chakra opens and all the rest of our chakras opening, we are opening portals within our body in order to allow our guides, our angels, to come through and communicate with the higher consciousness, as above so below. And we can communicate, and that helps us to communicate and get the messages and read the energies that are around us all the time. And I think part of it is there is a good and a bad side to everything. They're two sides of the same coin. And when I was sort of forced to look at it this time because I wanted to understand it, you can drive yourself crazy looking at internet stories of conspiracies and goodness knows what else, you really can. But there is a lot of behind the scenes goings on within our government system and our leadership system in whichever country you're in. And when we become aware and we awaken, it is then our job, actually, I think, to look at it and try and understand it and get a better handle. I knew you'd howl. Get a better handle on what is really, really happening around us. If I hadn't have looked into things, if I had totally, really scared myself, look, nope, not looking at it, can't deal with this, and I'm just going to concentrate on looking at the good and pretend that it doesn't exist, then that is being ignorant of what's going on around us. I'm not being aware, totally awake about what's going on. And by ignoring the bad side of things and not looking at the bad side, you're allowing it by our ignorance. So I think what this video is all about is, yes, when we awaken, we can be shown things that we don't want to see, things that we don't understand, but we do at some point have to look at them to say, it's come up again for me this year with Mercury retrograde and everything else, and this time I have looked into it and I've actually got all the answers that I need and I now understand. Whereas last year, Dark Night of the Soul, I thought, oh my goodness, what the hell is this? I don't understand it, don't get it, why? The main thing to remember is to look at things, make up your own mind about things, make your own decisions about things, but remember that we are light. We are completely filled with light. We are protected. We are safe. We always have been and we always will be. But now we're awake, we can look around with a fresh set of eyes. We can see more of the corruption that's going on around us, and we can see more of the power wars and coercion coming up from governments, etc., and the higher elite families that are behind the scenes working on things. I'm not going to even say the name. They're all, you all know what I'm talking about, and we all know that there's a lot of different names for them, but I think they're all branches from the same tree. And when we're awake, we have a choice. We can see the good side and we can see the bad side, and we're aware of it. And as long as we know that we are light and that we are good, we stay on the light side of things. We don't allow, once we're awakened, our portals, our chakras, we don't give them the chance to be filled by anything other than good. And that is our choice. And maybe there are certain higher powers that be that have actually helped us to awaken, so we can make that choice. Personally, go and investigate, go and look at the things that you don't really want to look at to become aware. We are truth seekers, we are light, there is darkness, but if you try and put darkness into light, it has no effect on the light. The light is still there. If we shine light on the dark, we illuminate the dark, and the dark is gone, it dissipates, and that's it. Once we understand it, once we are aware of it, it's no longer scary. We just know it's there. We just know and understand how we're being coerced into things, how we are controlled, how we are programmed through the media, through film, radio, music, all sorts of things that these people behind the scenes are controlling what we see, what we watch, and they're putting a lot of signs and symbols in things. And I now can see all that, and at first it's like, oh, that's really scary, but it's not scary as last year when I couldn't see it and I didn't understand it and I wasn't aware of it. So I think the point I'm trying to make in all of this is, yeah, just you may, as you're waking up, start to see things that will affect you, and you might not understand them, but investigate them and find out and make up and come to your own truth. I personally believe that, like I said, the dark cannot survive in the light. We are totally filled with light. We are filled with unconditional love for everybody. There is no separation, which is what I think they are trying to make us believe or follow, that there is separation. There isn't any. It doesn't matter what colour we are, what country we're from, whether we're black, white, yellow, purple, whether we are gay, lesbian, different genders, different everything, we are still one. We are still spiritual beings in a human body. We are still all connected by the higher consciousness, and we're not separated at all. And I think they are trying to make us separated. They are trying to lead us in a direction that we have never wanted to go, and now that we're waking up we can actually see that direction. Now, I went to see the latest Jurassic Park film with my daughter, and there was a lot of signs and symbolism within it, and I could see it blatantly on there, and I thought, wow, why can't anyone else see this? And it's just simply because a lot of you can already see it because you're waking up. I'm aware of it, and now I can see it clearly, and it's horrible, it's disgusting, but I'm aware of it. So now I have the choice, and everybody has the choice of whether to continue to hide from it and pretend it doesn't exist, or to face it head on and be brave, stand in your own truth, and say, yeah, we can see what you're doing, but we don't agree with it, and we don't want any part of it, because we are light, and that's who we are, and we're not separated, and we have unconditional love for everything within this universe, even them, that is part of it. So I don't know if there's anything else I want to add. I know that I wrote some notes down. Once we're aware of them, they have no power over us whatsoever, and they can't scare us because we can see it, and we need to look at it. As we're looking at the light, we also do need to shine our light into the darkness so that it disappears, so that it's we're scared of things that we don't understand, or we're scared of things that we don't know of. It's the unknown. We're always scared of the unknown. Once you shine your light on it, though, it becomes known to you, and then you have your choices. So I don't watch television. I do watch it sometimes, and I will watch films occasionally, but I watch films that are not filled with blood and gore and everything else, because I know that being part of the collective conscious now, that goes up into the universe and is reflected back down on us. So we always have to do everything for our highest good, and we always have to look after ourselves before we can help anybody else. Yeah, if you don't like the things that you're hearing and seeing, force yourself to understand what it is and see it once you're awakened, and then make the choice not to watch it, or watch it. So I don't watch bad films, I don't watch things with guns and killing in it. I don't want to hear the news. I don't watch the news. I don't want to hear about killings, death, destruction, because that embeds itself into your subconscious and then goes out up into the universe and is reflected down again. And that's the way it works. This is why we've always got to be positive and happy as much as we can, while being totally aware of the bad stuff that's out there, because we're aware of it, but we're not scared by it. Adverts in between on the radio, there will always be adverts about illnesses and disease and everything, and I know that it's sort of rammed down your throat and you hear it all the time, and I deliberately don't listen to it, because I don't need to hear that C word. Because if it's rammed down your throat enough, everybody will come to believe that, yeah, that is the way our life goes and we're going to die from that certain disease, or we're going to get ill from something, because everybody gets it. But the people that control the media and everything else want us to believe that, and that's what they put out there. It's rammed down our throats, gets into our subconscious, and we come to believe that, yeah, that's the way it is and that's what's going to happen, and we give up the fight. And there isn't. There is only light there, so you have a choice of watching or not watching. If you don't like what you're watching, watch something different, watch something happier. If you don't like what you hear on the radio, change it. I listen to songs on the radio while I'm out, but as soon as that news comes on, I will turn it down so I can't hear it. It hasn't made my life any more difficult, or because I'm not hearing what's going on out there in the world. I don't need to hear what's going out in the world, because the stuff they're putting out to us is bad. If we could have a radio station that was only full of happiness and good stories of humanity, stories of people doing good things for other people, that would be so, ooh, sorry sweet pea, so wonderful. But they don't do that. They want us to hear all the bad stuff, and they control that. So as long as we're aware of that, and just to sort of say that as we are waking up, we are shown unconditional love. We learn to clear things, we learn to get through, but we are also shown the dark side of things, which we may try and ignore. But it's best just to have a look at it and come to your own conclusions about it. I'm not saying anybody is wrong or right. I'm saying come to your own conclusions about things that are going on in the world. I hope, and I'm part of, I'm one of the many light workers on here who is trying to wake everybody up so that you can all be aware and see what's going on around you. And once that is done, there is no darkness. It won't exist at all. It will be gone. But we have to see it sometimes as a contrast. So there is a point that comes where we do have to look at it, and we can't be ignorant, because ignorance just feeds it. So, and as I say, this is not the normal sort of video that I bring up, but I've had to look at things I saw last year. I've had to look at them quite deeply this time and go into it, but I'm glad that I did, because I do understand it. I can now see the signs, the symbol, everything around me, which is trying to brainwash, which has been a part of my life and a part of my control and part of my programming since I was born. When all of us do our readings every day, and we're reading the energies for the day, when we do our tarot cards, no matter which reader it is on there, because we're in touch with our higher consciousness, we are very gently and subtly trying to wake you up. With the higher consciousness is trying to wake you up. The messages that come through me from my guides and my angels that lead me to the cards that are drawn out every day, that's not me, that's from up above. It is to give you messages to try gently for you to be able to see what is really going on around you and to become awake to that. A lot of us, I think, have hidden ourselves away. I think we don't want to look at things, and because if we step out of that programming that we've had for years, then we're suddenly different from everybody else. We're suddenly apart from everybody else, and sometimes you just want to step back in and pretend that you've never seen it and just stay within what we were in before. But because so many of us are waking up now and there is a mass awakening, we are outnumbering, or beginning to outnumber, the sheep, the ones that follow the government and the church and everything else. We are all free. We just need to break free of the chains, our invisible chains that we can't see. Now, we cannot, and we know we can't. Jeannie, please stop howling, darling. We cannot suddenly take our kids out of school, walk away from our social security checks, this, that and the other. We are still under that, but now at least we are aware of it. And now at least the more of us that wake up, the more we move towards a brighter and better future, where everybody is equal, where unconditional love is normal and the right thing and beautiful for everybody. They always want to separate us in whatever way they can, and by separating and dividing us, it causes wars and it causes heartache and it causes, and that's what they want. Some of them want this chaos because their egos, they want the power, when the power is everybody's. Our freedom is our right. So, oh gosh, comments below. Yeah, I hope once you're awake you can see it, but don't freak yourselves out about it. Look at it in a logical way. Look at it and go, wow, I can finally see all this. I'm not turning a blind eye to it. But once you've done that, you then have the choice of listening to it or not listening to it. And if you don't like what you see, if you don't like what you hear, don't watch it. Don't vote. If every single one of us in this universe just suddenly stopped voting, there wouldn't be a government. None of us would have voted them in. We'd have free land. We'd have free energy. We'd have freedom to be able to be equal and share, and it would make for such a better world. And I think that is what we're heading towards by everybody waking up, or so many people waking up at such a fast pace, and that's the way we want to go. Now, whether I will ever see this in my lifetime, this change, I don't know, or in your lifetime, but the faster we all wake up, the closer it is to getting there. And for our children, our grandchildren, that's the way we want to go, so that they've got freedom, so they don't have to go through, you know, stuff that we went through or we have been through in our lifetime. We're not here to suffer. We're not supposed to be here to suffer. We're here to be happy, but unfortunately there are other powers that be that think they are higher than light, that think they are higher than goodness, which they never will be, but they think they are. And unfortunately, because we've been ignorant to it, we've also allowed that to happen to a certain extent. So we all have a choice against good or bad, and it's two sides of the same coin. And in order to understand unconditional love and to know the light, and to know that we are totally filled and we are safe and we are protected, there comes a time when we do need to look at the other side. And once you've looked at the other side, yes, it's scary when you see everything. You think, wow, I've walked around in a half trance almost all my life, and now I can see. And now I'm on the other side looking in, and there's a lot of people still on the inside that haven't woken up yet. You think, whoa, but you're all starting to. So look at it with logic and compassion and peace. So also I said that I would do a lot of research and find out whether about helping you to wake up, about if there was a way that I can do that in a gentle, safe way. I've done a lot of research lately, and I've got together a one-to-one course which is now on my website if you want to go and have a look at it. There is not a time limit on the course. It will involve Skype with me at least once a week for however long it takes. We will work together on your self-esteem, on your confidence, meditations, opening your chakras one at a time, dealing with whatever comes up as your chakras open and you begin to awaken, and meditations, etc., and self-awareness, so you become totally awake and self-aware. I've not put a time limit on the length of the course because all of you are going to awaken at different times. It's going to take a different length of time. We don't know what things it's going to throw up as each chakra opens, but there will be coursework in between, and also I am available whenever you need me to be, if you do this course. So it's not I will only speak to you once a week and in the middle you've got to do it on your own. That is the way I'd like to do it, so that because you do have to make progress on your own, but I am there all the time for you if you need me, if you have a freak out, if there's something that you don't understand, I'm there for you all the time. So that is now on the website. If you want to go and have a look at that, and say we're all different, we're all waking up at different speeds, we're all experiencing different things as we awaken, but as we awaken there is this darker side that we do have to look at, and once we've shined our light on it and we've figured it out and we understand it and we can see it, it's not scary anymore and it's done. And then you don't have to concentrate on it. You've then got the choice to concentrate on unconditional love, making sure that your body and your portals, your chakras, are as clear and as balanced as they possibly can be, so that our guides, our angels that are with us and guiding us, and our higher consciousness are not of a darker nature, because they're not allowed in. They're not allowed anywhere near us because we're too light now for that, but we need to be aware of that. So I haven't gone as deep into it as some of the thoughts I had last night because I don't want to. I don't think I need to. I think you are all aware enough to a certain point to know what I'm talking about, and to know that sometimes it's necessary to do this and look at things like this. So comments below, questions below, email me, and part of my mission, part of my life path is to be on here, and to help you see things that you might not want to see, that you may try and turn a blind eye to sometimes. But I am not going to go, and you can go on the internet and you can get all sorts of scary stuff on there, and it really, I'm not going to go into all that. I don't need to. Half of it's not true. We just need to be aware of it. So namaste, take care. Thank goodness I've done this and it's over with and it's done. So stay light and stay positive. Okay, namaste.